let's talk about tomatoes. This right here, this is an indeterminate tomato plant. And what that means is that it could actually potentially keep growing for as long as it can grow. Uh, Obviously, tomato plants don't grow so well in the winter here, so that's not gonna keep growing forever, which means that I'm gonna have to top it, and I'm actually gonna do that right now. Because as soon as you take the top of the tomato plant that keeps growing, that's producing more growth, like right in here, as soon as I take this piece off, it will stop producing anything on top. Uh, so I'm just gonna snip it, just the whole thing, right like that. And there's a couple tomatoes that are still on the top, and that will stop growing that way anyway. And oh, I actually had a couple suckers on this thing, so one is actually growing out this way, and there's another one up here which I've not taken off. But there's already tomatoes started growing on, so I ain't gonna cut it. Anyways, moving on. I have done basically a wall of tomatoes, as you may already know. And I have done basically my own experiments as to whether I want to cut the sucker or pluck the suckers um, or not. Uh, See how much they'll actually produce. So these three are indeterminates. So I'm going to see how long I can kind of get them to go. Hopefully a little bit taller. And then I'll trellis them up a little bit if I can. And these ones, I don't plan to top any of these because they're indeterminate tomatoes. So they only reach a certain height before they stop producing. Um, some of these I have been going through and making sure that there are absolutely no suckers on them and been keeping up on that. However, there's some of them that I'm trying to see what the best way to do it is, because apparently if you take the suckers off, you're more likely to get very uh, what's the word? Very similar looking fruit. It'll probably be around the same size. It'll probably be around the same shape. However, if you keep the suckers on, you'll likely get more in weight than what you would normally. And to me, I'm just kind of doing the experiment, seeing how it goes. Uh, One really insane thing is this. This is a bush. This is a full tomato bush. I planted like 5 tomatoes here. I didn't even think they were all going to grow. Some of them seemed like they died. But they all came back with a vengeance. And this thing is huge. There is like technically like 5 or 6 tomato plants all just right in here. I have not trimmed any of it. I have not taken anything. But this is going crazy. Look at all of these tomatoes on top here. And all the flowers. And even down there. It's hard to see under, but this thing is going to need a good trim. I'm actually about to start because all of these leaves at the bottom, I mean, it's not good for the leaves to be in contact with soil. So I'm going to try to clear out a little bit from the underbrush and then see how that goes. Make sure there's some tomatoes within reach. But then there's also the fact that this thing is still producing more branches, more suckers, and the problem with that is the fact that we only have so long to grow. And with that, I mean, some of these tomatoes could potentially not reach their full maturity by the time winter hits because the plant was producing so much other stuff. It's producing a massive root system. It's producing so many leaves. It's producing so many small like flowers, and then the tomatoes. It takes so much energy to keep on like making that for the plant that it stops being able to produce very fast, and it's just focusing all its energy on everything, and it can only do that so fast. Anyways, um yeah, this is my crazy tomato experiment bush, and I think it's really cool. They're only patio tomatoes. They should get about this big. At all my determinate tomatoes are the same kind, and the indeterminates are obviously a little bit bigger, as you've probably seen. Uh, the other one, the other indeterminate tomato plant that I have, actually, before I go there, I'll show you this tomato plant, which does not look that great. All the leaves are pretty droopy, and I can tell you that it's pretty moist. So I overwatered the other day, and yeah, we're eh, yeah, it's kind of coming back. The leaves aren't so um crinkled, but I hope it's all right. I definitely overwatered it, and yeah, sometimes you actually notice these little crinkle leaves. They basically mean either A, underwatered, or overwatered. And I know for a fact that I didn't underwater it, so. Now, to the big one. And I'm talking big. This thing is as tall as me almost. Because I don't know what it is, but this particular spot in the front yard, this thing is crazy. This thing is literally 5 feet tall. And flies, mosquitoes. So this thing's 5 feet tall, and I've kind of let it grow suckers too, just to see. And you gotta. That's what it's all about. It's all about experiments. It's no fun if you actually do it like the way you're told to. I don't like doing that. It's not fun for me. So I would much rather be able to just experiment with a whole bunch of different plants, even if they're the same plant, because you can still get the harvest no matter what, and then just go crazy with however you want to do it. Um, I would say don't go quite as crazy as me when you're planting them, because yeah, like I say, I had planted too many. But let's take a look at these. The stem on this thing is fucking crazy. Like, it's holding already the start of, I don't know, another dozen tomatoes. Whereas this one, because it's the indeterminate and it's actually smaller tomatoes, you get it. There's a dozen right here within my hand. Like, it's crazy. There's so many. And like I say, when you're doing tomatoes, ideally plant them with 1 or 2 seeds, not 10. Don't put like 10 in one pot because it doesn't work. Well, it works. It's Problem is, maybe a little too wet because, like I say, I have 3 plants out front. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a lot. There's a lot. I'm not counting. There's too many. But the point is, I'm going to end up with literally hundreds of tomatoes by the end of the harvest. Both patio tomatoes, which, like I say, are about this big, snack size tomatoes. And then these things will grow nice, big, fat, juicy. These are the big beef tomatoes, by the way. And this guy, he's looking good. And hopefully with the little toppers, this thing will actually start ripening up these fruit pretty quickly. So yeah, pretty cool. This is a long tomato video, but this, it's all tomatoes. And you can't go wrong with that.